All right, once you've selected your colorful paper and you have your backing paper, your glue, scissors, pencil, all ready to go, the first thing we always want to do is put our name on it. With your colorful paper, put your name in the middle because we're going to be cutting on those edges. On your black paper, pencil's great because it still will shine where you can see it, even though it's on the dark paper. So there I've got my name. And then you can turn them over so we can get started. One of the tips from students that have done this project before is to give yourself a line or trace around your square before you start cutting. And I think you'll understand why in a minute. So I'm tracing with my pencil on all four sides. And making sure my square isn't moving around, right? It stayed in the same place. Now I have a nice area that I can see where my original square fits. And the student said this really helps because when you cut out a shape and want to glue it down, once you flip it, it helps to have that line to help you know where the straight line is. And also to help you put this back in the right place at the end of the project when you glue it down. Choose one of your sides, and we're going to cut a straight edge shape. So some of you may want to sketch it first. Make sure you don't go all the way across your paper because then it's going to fall apart. But you could make it an interesting shape. Other people might just want to cut and create their shape on their own. I like to just jump in and cut. But that does not mean that that is the best way for you to work. So do whatever you are going to be successful with. So there's my first shape. I did a lot of straight edges. Those are usually easier to cut. Now I can match it up over here or this way. Match it up where I trace those lines. Here's my piece. I like to think of it as a puzzle. Make sure it fits first. And now I'm going to flip it, turn it over, and glue it down. The other thing students that have done this project before said is make sure that you're gluing these pieces every time. I know it's easy to get excited about cutting or gluing and get distracted, but if you're not gluing them down every single time in the right place, it's going to get really confusing later. Students struggled with where it should go or how to flip it, and also they get lost. So from other students, they say to glue it right away. This one's not glued, so I can pick it up again. My second shape, and I'm going to do the opposite side, is going to be more curved lines. This time, let's say I draw it out. So maybe we'll do something like this. If I'm drawing it out, I just need to be sure that I'm cutting on those lines and it doesn't look messy. So now I take my scissors and I'm going to follow these curvy lines around. Don't rush that work. I know cutting and gluing may seem simple, but you're going to make such an amazing artwork with it that taking your time is a really important part of it. Make sure that it looks like your best work. On these curves, I have to go really slow. I don't want to mess it up or cut too far and break my piece. Remember, yours can look however you would like. It does not have to match mine. And now I got it cut out. Again, first I want to match this up, and I have that nice line, so it would go this way. Make sure I don't flip it, because that doesn't make any sense. My name's on the back, it's the wrong way. Match it up first, nice and straight. Then I can take this like a puzzle piece, make sure it would match, and I'm going to flip it. Boom. And I'm going to glue it down. Now my name shows, so the first thing I want to do is make sure I erase that off. That's why we work in pencil, so that no one has to know that I had my name on it. Can erase it, and maybe I'll come back later and do an even neater job. And I'm going to glue my piece down. Don't be afraid of the glue. We don't want it messy, but we want to make sure it sticks. We don't want pieces falling off between your classes. Line it up, smooth it down, press hard. And now I have two more sides. As you keep working, if you finish early, you could do 2 shapes out of this side or 3 shapes out of this side. Just make sure that's going to fit on your paper. And maybe you wanted to have your square go in a diamond way instead of straight like I did. Totally up to you. You are the artist in your project. I'm going to try making a skinny shape and see what that looks like. Might end up a little bit off my paper, but it might be fun. Match it up. And so now this piece would go like this if I were puzzle piecing it and I flip it. Ooh yeah, it's going to go a little off my paper, but I like it. Oh no, it fits. Get my glue and add it on. I'll check back in with you after I've added all my pieces to see what it really looks like. Now I went through and I cut out shapes, multiple shapes on each side, and I wanted to remind you of one thing. As I cut out these shapes, this one has a little corner that I wanted to smooth out because I like how smooth this one is. But I didn't change this shape. I can't recut it. I can't take it and smooth it out because when you change this shape and you get rid of that scrap, it won't match anymore. It won't be positive and negative of each other. It'll become a whole new shape. And it might look nice and smooth here, but this one's not going to change. And I don't want to keep changing them and making a bigger gap. So once I cut it out, that's what I'm using. That's why it's so important that when I'm cutting, I'm taking my time. Now, this piece is still loose. So I'm going to take it and glue it in. My last final thing. You can take as long as you want finding little areas to cut out as long as they match and work for your positive and negative space coming out from the sides. And getting my glue on all these little corners is really important. So I want to make sure it really sticks on there. Doesn't fall apart or get ripped. Now I find where it matches. Take your time. It's going to be hard to glue this one flat. So match up this line and smooth it. Press it hard. And then I'm going to follow it down. And press it down hard so it fits. Oh, I got a little off. All right. And there is my final positive and negative space artwork.